need to achieve for the academia is for us to seek opportunities to integrate ethics in our education curricula. The quality assurance director has gone out. I really wanted him to be here so he can help us champion the cause. But the dean is here and he's also the VC in this place. So we really want this to be integrated into the curricula for people studying chemistry, biochemistry, chemical engineering, and possibly pharmacy to go through this code as part of the curriculum. We also want to adopt the code with colleagues and including modifications if there are. By the time we get to the end of the workshop, we now find out whether we have modifications that we need to make based on our peculiarity. Like you see the technologies coming out with more because it does more of the contact with the reagents and storing than the grad student who is doing specific experiments to buy his degree. So we see our peculiarities will be captured if we do that. And then promoting open discussion, all of us have said it, these are expectations from those in academia. So policymakers, we're expecting them to prioritize efforts to adopt and comply with international norms and the codes, especially those affecting weapons making and use, and making sure that communication with chemistry professionals is effective. Most times they do not want to give us audience. So we really need them to give us audience so they can understand that we are partners in the business. Incentivize ethical conduct, so they should be able to incentivize it so that those who are very complying in ethical conduct, they can give them awards. And also downplay those who are not doing it. By so doing, others will come up with their practice of ethics. Safety and security in a country or within, also the policymakers need to give us policies that will enable this. Industry and exports, we want them to promote discussion in their laboratories, and we also want them to seek opportunities to integrate ethics in their businesses that they do in the laboratory. We want them to encourage this conduct across the enterprise. Of course, what is the next step for GCCE? GCCE next edition will be in May this year in Kenya. Call for application was made, and I tried to distribute the call to those that have their contacts in relevant departments, and application has closed. So we're looking forward for GCCE in Kenya, May. And the codes so far have been translated into 7 languages so that people can really use them and understand them. In Arabic, Turkish, Urdu, Pashto, Hindi, Tagalog, and Bahasa, these are the languages. So they encourage us, if there are other popular languages that people use in communication, we can send it to them, or if we recommend experts, they can help to translate them. So the word about the document will continue to spread among institutions, being the core, being a benefit to humans and protecting the environment, sustainability, making sure that activities today does not close the activities of our future generations. Education, awareness, engaging people and ownership, ethics, safety and security, accountability, oversight and exchange of information. While the GCCE has come into 5 sections, covering environment research, scientific writing and publishing, safety and security. And we have said that GCCE has 3 preambles for the academia, policymakers, industry, and export control. And in conclusion, since our specialty is a densely populated one, ethical document will help shape our cultural expectations, chemical culture, about our behavior in our workplaces, wherever we deal with chemicals. It will also serve as a formidable marketable tool, like I said before, to potential business partners and clients as we are looking for patronage in different things, products from the laboratory. It is also noteworthy that applying GCCE will work if it's treated consistently in every instance of wrongdoing from the ground up. Nobody is exempted. Whoever violates should get appropriate sanction and discipline from appropriate quarters. A great code and a strong culture is the heart of a successful organization. Strong compliance and whistleblowing should be encouraged. So I want to introduce the group. Please, can I have all of you, please? All the group planning committee, please, let me see all of you here, please. Can I have all of us, please? If we build our responsible trust with them. So we'll be able to have a peaceful coexistence where they trust that what we're doing, the law we want to pass on importation of chemicals or exportation of chemicals, that they are for the good of everybody. Their mothers in the villages going to market, so even if that the hallowed chambers, they must come out of the chamber someday and get to do with everyday life. So if we make them understand that this is not really because I want to get a grant and have more money in my pocket, all right, because, or marry new wife, or whatever thing that people do with money, is not really the reason, the main ultimate reason doing it. The ultimate goal is for us to make provision for benefit to mankind and protecting the environment so that we do not destroy the future of the generation behind us. So that will only give us peace. Have I attempted your question?
How global is GCCE? We have a world that have more than 150 countries and 19 countries coming together to write the ethics for global chemist code of ethics. So the question is, have they considered the ideologies? For instance, China constitutes a quarter of the world population.
From the name GCCE, Global Chemist Code of Ethics, it is global in design because it's designed for a global perspective. Yeah, but out of the 150 countries, like you mentioned, we've got over 43 countries in all of the interactions. And remember that we derive from the Hague's guidelines on the prohibition against chemical weapons. So this other guideline is more global. So that had a lot of, including Nigeria, it had a lot of countries, more than 100 countries committing to the guidelines, from which we derive to trying to make ownership and engagement possible. That's how we came about the GCCE. It's coming from a mother. So from the guidelines that we said, there are over 152,000 if you search on the internet of the guidelines. So there are pockets of guidelines across the world gathered together, synthesized to find the chemical relevance, and then we try to make it the way it will serve our meal in chemistry, so that we can own it and we can run it and use it to engage ourselves, engage government, and engage the public. So it is global. Any other question?
Safety is practiced. For instance, if you go to chemistry, PG chemistry laboratory, you will see a lot of makeshift water storage tanks because it's really an eyesore. If you go there, there's no tap, no water, nothing. Everything is bad. So, and we are in academia. Even most of these industries, they practice this safety more than us in academia. So, how can we improve safety?
We need funding. That's an issue I highlighted as a hindrance to adoption of the GCCE. If we have good funding, the laboratories will be running, the waters will be running automatically, okay? So I think we are underfunded. I'm not holding brief for the administration, but I understand some peculiarities in developing countries. It's not only in a country. I have been to some other countries, African countries, where things are also bad. So when we're working hard, the little we have, if we can fetch water with a bucket or with a keg, how can we ensure that that water is being put to use, almost same use that the running tap can provide us? The running tap may be different. We can can the water we fetch with jerry can. We can can it and let it run through a tap. We have a lot of water cans with the tap. So we can let them run, and that same way can serve the same purpose. It's just because we are not committed to safety in this part of the world, yes? So there they are there. People are supporting me there, but they have more questions coming up. Yes, so we really need, as we rise from this, if we rise from this workshop and we don't have a change, an attitudinal change, a cultural change, a chemical cultural change, then the essence of this workshop has been defeated. We really need to rise from here and begin to do things very differently so that we are safe, because we do not know that the safety is not just for us or for them. Sometimes we think the safety is for our supervisors, the safety is for the head of the department, the safety is for the zonal director of NADA, the safety is for the director ACM group of company, the safety is for the technologists, the chief technologists. No, the safety is for all of us. You know, some of us who stay with, for example, chloroform, a lot of us use it as solvent. So when it stays, do we know that chloroform after opening it is not supposed to stay with us more than 6 months? We don't know. Or we know but we don't. A lot of us have chloroform that have stayed for 5 years. This is already a time bomb ready to explode. Because if you see the white scales around the rings, these are toxic compounds that are ready to go off at any slightest spark or heat, supply of heat. Chloroform in itself is stable. It's not combustible. But when it comes in contact with air, it begins to release these toxic chemicals. And then it's waiting for the conditions of combustion and it can explode. The bottle can explode. And then the alkali earth metals also will cause it to explode. So one bringing all of this to the safety question is that we think safety is for them or for my employer is signed to be safe. It's not because of them. For me first, then others. And my being unsafe also conceals unsafe and poor safety issues to my neighbor. If I faint because I become dizzy after inhaling some chloroform, then my neighbor cannot deliver on his job because he has to take me to the hospital. And then his own supervisor will have to take his job or postpone to the next day. Those who are waiting for files to be treated, he cannot be treated. So it's a chain of events. So if we really want to adopt safety in our day-to-day work, it will help us to move manners lost, cost of building lost to fire, or broken utensils due to explosion or storms. So we really need to commit to safety. We can do it. We don't have a lot of things, but we can't allow those factors militating against being safe, because at the end of the day, those factors are there. We didn't get money, but when we die, we cannot get the money. So we need to stay alive to hope to get the money. Am I communicating?
One other contribution is, how do we frequently, so that after today, let's really not be this. It's unethical. It's unethical to gather like this, and at the end of the day, we all, So let's plan frequent or subsequent
chemicals we are using. If you ask someone to supply some chemicals, whatever they bring, you will not know. Because there is no way of you analyzing the chemical to find out whether it's what they have claimed it is or not. So my suggestion or my contributions, when you go for these conferences, like ACS sponsoring you, just remind them that some of these the equipment they use, which maybe in 2 years' time they disregard and get a new one. That you can do with some of this.
Due to what is happening in this country now, we are talking about economic recession and all that.
The loading of chemicals in food materials. That's why we need toxicity testing before they are recommended for use in food materials. So I don't know how much of the toxicity designs we are doing with experiments. So we need to, because all of us are focusing on different aspects of chemistry, the biological chemistry, all of us, we have different interests. So if this, but you also need to know that sometimes some carcinogens were not classified as carcinogens at some point, and then later on they are, because some experiments were designed and then they gave us new information. So that's why as some of the chemicals you find in food, they are good, that at the time There are bad that at the time were good, but later on, maybe due to change of conditions. So the climate change, a lot of things are influencing the rate of reaction or the nature of reaction and all of those. So we need to appreciate the changing times and also the changing science. That's why we need to be innovative in our design of experiment that we do. We don't just need to go cheat. That's why we talk about transparency and integrity with our experiment. So if we keep cheating, going to other universities or research institutions to reproduce what we have done, or even to photocopy the works and start present them, we are not helping the society as chemists, either practitioners or professionals. So we really need to be innovative so we can meet the changing times and be ahead of time to inform the public when we have information. After we have gone through the procedures and then we have a reliable data, we can push the information not just in journals. Those that are health information, you can find, go to media houses, they are very much happy to give you time for education without you paying. You go buy time or go get the free time and talk to people about their health. Everybody want to hear about their health. And then the way, the manner, Professor Monago suggested we'll have more of this. So if we have another opportunity to sit this way, I like to talk about communicating science to policymakers so we can understand how we can rephrase our science so they can understand us and it makes sense immediately without the jargon that we have to say or the guys and they don't understand that. So they walk away because it's not making sense. So we really need to tell them the in thing, what is in there for them. So we need to retrain ourselves on communicating science that we do. Because sometimes it's a problem. We have information but we don't know how to pass it out because everybody is not a chemist. Everybody is not an engineer. Everybody is not about chemists. So we must find a way to let them know what challenges that we are starting out to defeat in the society. So if we do that way, we'll be able to tackle the chemicals and the elevated levels we find in foods. Although some chemicals are natural, some are synthetic, but they are chemicals. So overseas, where they have stable light, most times they're dealing with their food materials within a short shelf life. A week, 2 weeks, the material is expired. But we can't do that in Nigeria because the sellers will lose all their goods if their goods have expiry days of 1 week, 2 weeks. So that's why they really put more of the preservatives. So you can take 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and all of those that we'll find in our market. So let's continue to be very innovative and strategic in our design of experiments and in engaging ourselves so we can find a lasting solution to our peculiarity. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Professor Gordian Chibuzo Obuti, the Dean of the Faculty of Science in the University of Port Harcourt, but here in this occasion representing the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Ndowa Lale. Oh, in so many ways. You could see that we have our technologies there. We have what we are told the chemical practitioners and professionals, which includes almost everybody. And then it will now enrich what we give out to people, both in service, internally and externally. So it's a worthwhile effort, the lecture we held here. Well, Dr. Waichi is one of us here. We know her. Like I made a comment there, we are commending her for this effort. You know, most people sometimes they go out and they come back, they don't tell us what they went out for. But this is an example. And we're saying that other people should follow suit. When we send you out or we allow you to go out, because it's still university money, you should come back and tell us this is what we benefited, so that others will also learn from your experience. And that is what is worthwhile about this particular event. So I can commend her talent, her timeliness, and the way she has comported herself outside and inside here as she's come back. So we take her as an example to let others speak a cue from her.
Hello, I'm Dr. Yukeri Onwaichi, an environmental biochemist of the University of Port Harcourt. Yeah, GCCE, Global Chemist Code of Ethics, is a set of standards that we have derived from a lot of codes that apply to chemistry from around the world, especially the convention that held in Hague. So in 2015, So we try to domicile our code within us so we can have easy engagement and ownership of our code that solves our problem as chemists. Be biochemists, be chemists, be in chemical engineering, we are all chemists. And we try to look at practitioners, those who in one way or the other have contact with chemicals. Okay, and we also try to look at the chemistry professionals, those who have been trained in a specialized way in chemistry, either by certification, licensure, to be able to deliver service, chemistry service to the public. So these two categories of people, we need these codes so we can work ethically, because any society without the code, it is bound to be doomed, because we need codes of ethics that will guide our behavior and our culture, chemical culture, and attitudinal behavior in the laboratory, so we can uniformly work more responsibly with integrity in our daily chemistry practice. Yeah, this workshop, I stand to achieve wider engagement. Like here we have industry representative, we have the government representative, and we have university, the management of the university. You saw the vice chancellor and director of quality assurance and relevant deans of faculties, and then heads of departments and the departments of chemical engineering, chemistry, biochemistry, even disaster management. They are all here because these are the ultimate carriers of chemistry and practices in the institutions. So we brought all of us together to look at the code for possible adoption, and then to make a commitment to apply this ethics in our day-to-day work. Oh, okay. Because when I classified the people we're interested in, so I have said the chemical practitioners, like you standing here before me, you are a chemistry practitioner, because in one way or the other, the microphone you're holding, we have got polymer here. So chemistry is already in place. So you need to know how to stay safe with the chemical products that you use every day. So everybody is important, everybody is part of this business, to be able to understand how we can work safe and do responsible science so that we benefit mankind. Because if chemistry that is bringing succor to world challenges does not benefit mankind and protect the environment and make sure that we have a sustainable culture, that the activities that we do today does not in any way jeopardize those of the people, the future generations that are coming forward. They should live their lives and we should live ours. So we're trying to be responsible in our conduct so that the future is not jeopardized for the future generations.
All right,
yep.
You made mention of lab security, and in this day you find results are being swapped in labs. So how can we ensure that such things does not happen when it comes to lab security?
Results, we're talking about transparency in conduct of chemistry. So we do not in any way intend to police people in some way that is out of our ethics. So we have ethics if we are responsible scientists and chemists. So we'll be able to watch each other's back. And like we say, irrespective of whose horse is God, that we should apply the same code to everybody. We are encouraging whistleblowing, which even we are celebrating in government, whistleblowers everywhere. So we also want whistleblowing, those who report unethical conduct of science, like the results you talk about. We want to present results that are reproducible anywhere in the world, so that we really make sure we protect our environment, the food, the health, because chemistry is in all of this, in health, in food, in energy, in cosmetics. So we really have to be very sound about what we believe in our ethics, to make sure that our results are firm in design of our experiment, the results that we generate and the data collection and the method of gathering the data are very reliable and standard, okay, so that we produce something that is reproducible. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't know if anybody has asked you. You said we are all chemical practitioners. Advice you have for us generally?
We need to ask questions when we do not understand. When we have something new on the table, there are a lot of new products, so we should ask questions. so that we can understand. Like one of the students in their group work we did during this workshop brought out religion. That religion, they're talking about making of soap and all of those, which are chemical acts. So if you're introducing things like that, people are coming to demonstrate how to put money into the pocket. You should endeavor to bring a professional, a chemist, into the system so the person can explain the principles behind some of these, so you understand your limitations in applying some of those in your day-to-day life. So that's what you need to know as a practitioner. Lawmakers are important players in chemistry, because there are a lot of laws that are made that affect us. For example, laws concerning import and export. If we do not come in, if we do not lobby them to make enabling laws, we may have excessive importation or exportation of chemicals, which we do not want, because we've talked about the chemical weapons. So if, for example, like the ammonium nitrate, which is somebody can import it in the pretense that is for agriculture, and actually can be used as a chemical weapon, and all of those. So we need to lobby them and make sure that our input, our interests are...
Gary Brumer Joseph from Chemical Engineering Department. Well, so much, and I hope this kind of awareness workshop continues, because we are the pace setters. We are the ones who's going to move to the society, starting from our institution, the various departments we belong to in the university, and then see how we can extend the information to the general public. If this kind of information ends with us, it has not gotten to the end users, because like I learned from the workshop, we have the chemical practitioners, which is every one of us here. Now, one way or the other, we are in contact with a product of chemistry. And also we that are, using these chemicals directly, in the institution of research and all that, we are the chemical practitioners. So whatever we discover, whatever we learn, we are supposed to be able to pass it out to the woman in the kitchen. She should understand the safety that is involved in ensuring safety of the hose being used, the quality of hose you are using for your gas, because leakage can result to something else. And you should know how to properly light up a gas system. These are safety things that are important in the home. And some other ones, there are some products, we just go buy them. They don't even have NAFDAC label on them. Like you see some air fresheners and insecticides. All we just know is that this one will kill this and that. What about the aftermath effects in the human body system?
Okay, my name is Abanyim Chisim the Wisdom. Well, it's been a wonderful day, being that we have learned on the importance of protecting ourselves and the environment at large in the use and handling of chemicals, being that everything around us comprises of chemicals. So it's been a wonderful day and it's been very educating. All right. The lesson I'm going to take home, let me start from my immediate home. In my career, I work in the laboratory as a laboratory scientist or technologist. So I'm going to take home the importance of handling the chemicals, especially in the disposal of those chemicals. Now going home, you're going to identify chemicals that have been expired, the ones that are not labeled, and then ensuring that even those your colleagues around you, everybody come together to ensure that we have a meaningful life after here. Because these things, they have a long-term effect on us, because we dwell with them, even in the laboratory, they are all there. We sit with them, we're meant to be there, So going home, I'm going to educate some of my colleagues that are not here, and then I will have to make amends where I have not been doing before now.
Okay, my name is Martin Ibinovia. I'm a graduate student of chemistry. And the program has been very insightful and enlightening, because chemicals, most chemicals have two sides. They have both their good use and their negative use. So we've learned today how we can manage these chemicals, especially the ones that have negative uses, the ones that could have effects on us. The role we have to play both as professionals and as practitioners, because we all have a role to play in this, in ensuring that these chemicals are properly managed, they don't get to the wrong hands, they are not abused. So these are some of the things I've learned from this program.
So what is that particular lesson you're going to take today?
Okay, yes, basically the lesson is that there are some chemicals, for example chloroform. Chloroform is highly used in the laboratory. You know, we use it either as solvent, mainly as solvent, and these chemicals, you see some of them stay for as much as 2-3 years in the laboratory. We keep using them because of financing. So such chemicals should not be allowed to stay for more than 6 months. That's one of the things I've learned and I will take home from this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you.